that's the difference between what he's offering and what actual financial coaching is. Not just telling someone what to do, but actually putting the structures in place that make it easy for them to do it. Because if theoretically he's completely correct, yes, do this, he's giving her all these numbers, she looks totally bewildered. She looks completely confused. He might as well be saying, wah, 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 because she's not actually retaining the information that he's giving her. She's freaked out, and she's not going to get out of debt. Welcome to the Artful Dollar podcast. It's me, Ryan Roy. So I just want to do a quick video today on Caleb Hammer. He is a YouTube sensation. He basically has guests come on his podcast, and they go over their finances, and he gives them advice on what to do. Except that the entire time he's just berating them, he is calling them stupid, he's just insulting them the entire time. And I just wanted to give my perspective as someone who works as a professional financial advisor and financial coach. I want to share with you my perspective on him and maybe share some of the differences between what he's doing and what actual financial coaching is and looks like, so that you can get an idea of just what actual support there is and what I believe to be more harmful than helpful, which is unfortunately what I think Caleb Hammer is doing. So if you're not familiar with Caleb Hammer, I'm just going to share a quick clip of his with you right now so you get a sense of who he is, how he treats people, and you can see for yourself. It's very entertaining, and I will say it's a combination between like Dave Ramsey and Jerry Springer. That's what Caleb Hammer is, and so you can see for yourself what he does for and to people.
And we can go through the budget. Boom, we have $2,500 left. $2,000 goes to the now $2,000 credit card. That is paid off, and $500 can go to the $4,845 credit card. And then we repeat this on a monthly basis. You are not having a single ounce of fun. You don't get to go get any kind of clothes because your closet is probably completely full. You don't need to have any fancy haircut. Do the cheapest way possible. You are not going out to eat a single freaking time. It doesn't exist. It does not exist in your life. Only $500 of groceries. And then after about 6 months of no joy in your life, 6 months because you've just gotten yourself into such a disgusting mess. You're just laying in a sewer every night when you go to bed. That is how bad this is. After 6 months, we have no more credit cards.
So that's Caleb Hammer helping someone, and I did think about actually going through more parts of that video and actually sharing with you what I would advise to this person. If you're interested, let me know in the comments. I'll make another follow-up video of that. But his advice is the equivalent of, let's say you hired a personal trainer to help you lose weight, and they said, all right, you want to lose weight? Here's how we're going to do it. It's really simple. You're going to eat celery for 6 months. You're not going to eat anything else. And you're going to do 1,000 push-ups a day. Cool? All right, go. You lost weight. Go lose weight. Go do it. The advice he gives people, they're not going to follow it. And that's the difference between what he's offering and what actual financial coaching is. It's not just telling someone what to do, but actually putting the structures in place that make it easy for them to do it. Because if it doesn't matter, theoretically, he's right. Theoretically, he's completely correct. Yes, do this. He's giving her all these numbers. She looks totally bewildered. She looks completely confused. He might as well be saying, wah, 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 because she's not actually retaining the information that he's giving her. She's freaked out, and she's not going to get out of debt. I wouldn't be surprised. In fact, I tried to look up, how are the guests of Caleb Hammer's show doing 6 months, 12 months later? And I couldn't find anything positive. The only things I did find were people complaining about how they felt insulted, they felt berated, and it wasn't a positive experience on their lives. So if I wanted to help someone, which I love doing all the time, if you're interested and you need some guidance, feel free to reach out. I would first look at how money is being managed in their lives, and it's usually something, either one of two things. Either it's very simple and it needs to be a little bit more complex, not overwhelmingly complex, but there needs to be more structure put in place, some automation so that you're not the one in charge of it, right? She got herself into this situation over however many years, collecting thousands of dollars of debt. If we rely on the same system, meaning her, to get herself out of the situation that she got herself into, we're relying on a flawed system. We're literally relying on the thing that is the problem to solve the problem, and that's not going to go very well. So I would look at putting some structures in place that aren't in place to automate, separate, clarify what's happening in her finances. Because if I gave her a budget, right, he's telling her, spend this much on food, spend this much on clothing, don't go out. If I just tell her what to do, it's a very low chance statistically that she's actually going to follow it. Me personally, I've always struggled to follow budgets. I get that, yes, I'm supposed to spend this, but then this happens and this, and then I'm going out and something. And so having something that sticks to me versus me sticking to it, I think is very helpful. The other thing I see a lot, less common, but it is something that I run into, is people have big systems. Maybe they've come to one of my seminars and they're like, oh, Ryan's telling me to open up all these bank accounts. I'm going to do that. They open up all these bank accounts, but then they're just not really utilizing them effectively. So they kind of put some money here, put some money there, but it's not optimized in a way that's actually regularly, consistently, every month saving them more and more money. They're not accumulating wealth. They're simply making money, spreading it around, moving it back, and it's just kind of a jumbled mess. So I run into those two situations, and the best advice I can give to anyone watching this is start. If you've been enjoying this episode or found my podcast helpful and you think other people would benefit from listening, then all I ask in return is please leave a quick review or subscribe. It'll take just 1 minute and it might help other tattooers and artists find this podcast and help them. So please, it would mean the world to me and it might make a difference for someone else. Thanks. And the best advice I can give to anyone watching this is start simple. Start with an external savings account, a high yield savings account, open that up, set up an automatic transfer into that, and then looking at every other area of your life. What are your regular monthly reoccurring expenses? What vacations do you plan on traveling and going on over the next year? Because even if you're like, oh, I'm not really going to be doing much traveling, the chances are you're probably going to be spending at least $2,000 over the next year, right? So if you know you're going to be spending that much, let's say a minimum of $2,000, 2,000 divided by 12, right? That's $166 a month. If you set up an automatic transfer to go into a vacation fund for $166 a month, you would be able to take that vacation and not need to worry about paying for it. You wouldn't need to scramble to pay the bills or go into debt. And so those are the types of structures that I have people set up. And the more of a system that we can set up and automate, make it as complicated as it needs to be, but not more complicated than that. Really putting that in place. That way, she, the person who is responsible for the problem, is not any longer the issue. She's not in charge anymore. And by doing that, you, she, me simply can't fuck it up that bad. So that's one, just like strategically. I don't make people go on a binge diet around money to solve their money problems, because let's say she does follow that plan perfectly to a T. 6 months goes, she is out of debt, and then what happens? Has she really developed the habits that she can rely on for the next 10 years, 30 years of her life to continue to accumulate money and savings for the future? Probably not. That's why binge diets don't work. That's why when you're losing weight, they say you should try to lose about 1 pound per week is the goal. People try to lose 5 pounds or try to lose 20 pounds in a month, and it doesn't stick. And so real financial coaching, the art of financial coaching, and I view what I do as an art form. I'm an artist first and foremost. I take it very seriously. And when I see someone like Caleb Hammer just berating people, making them feel like shit, it's like seeing a tattoo artist that is just spitting on the art of tattooing. For me, that's what I see when I see him. So systematically, structurally, let's put some systems in place. Then we're going to look at your goals. We're going to look at the long-term goals, because if you're just focused on the next week or the next month, you're constantly chasing money. And if you aren't looking 5 years, 10 years down the line and dialing in your systems to help you accomplish those long-term goals, then you're always just catching up. You're living tattoo to tattoo or job to job, paycheck to paycheck, whatever you want to say. So yeah, dialing in those systems, setting them up to achieve your long-term goals. And then we want to look at the relationship with money. This is something that your CPA, your regular financial advisor is not going to talk about, but it's a big pink elephant in the room. Is you have an emotional, a psychological, even a spiritual relationship with money. It's there. It's impacting you, your finances. It impacts the actions you take, the actions you don't take. It impacts how much you spend. It impacts how you feel in the morning about your money. When you wake up, that gripping feeling in your chest when you're like worried, oh my God, am I going to have any appointments and how am I going to pay that bill? But you know what? It's like somehow we always do make it work. Like you're not just like getting fucked and moving out of your apartment. I mean, yeah, on rare occasions that happens, but we've kind of figured out an emotional relationship with money that allows us to survive. And we rely on those feelings, the fear, the uncertainty, the taking risks or not taking risks, or the way we learn to manage money emotionally, tangibly. It's designed to have us survive. It's really good at survival. In fact, you watching this have probably mastered survival, right? 30 years, 40 years, 20 years on this planet, however long you've figured out how to survive. But that emotional, psychological, spiritual relationship with money hasn't yet formed in a way that allows you to thrive. And so that's what I look at, is like, what are those lines of code, those thoughts that we have around money, those old ways of thinking, those old belief patterns that she's clearly like in a trauma response in this episode. And he's just triggering all that stuff. So what's very likely going to happen is she's going to leave the episode. She's going to say, okay, I need to do all this stuff, but it's very overwhelming. Maybe he writes out a sheet for her, a checklist of like, do this, do this, do this, right? She's going to be thinking about it a lot, but she's going to be so much in fear, and that survival mechanism is going to get really, really strong, and she's going to almost get worse into her patterns and the things that got her into the situation in the first place. I've seen it a lot where people get triggered by some emotional money trauma. Our nervous system is ingrained from the minute we learned about money and we saw our parents do this and someone do that. Either they spent a lot or they were scared of it or whatever it was. I see this a lot in people that grew up with very little money, where they internally have this belief that money is just going to disappear. And so their natural response to that is to spend it before it disappears, which kind of doesn't really make sense, but I've seen that happen a lot. This is clearly not going to work if we continue to think about and perceive money the way we have in our 20s, if we continue to do that in our 30s, our 40s, our 50s, right? It worked for a while, but it's not going to continue to work in the future. And so we want to rewrite that script, sort of reinsert new lines of code, new belief systems, while being aware of the old patterns. Because things that you've thought about money for 20, 30 years, you're not just going to instantly forget and start becoming a ball of abundant light that makes thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. Like, that's not going to happen instantly. It's rewriting those scripts, and that takes time. It takes patience. It takes practice. And so that's a big part of the work I do, is looking at your mindset, your relationship with money. I'll ask people, if money was a person and you were friends, or maybe even in a relationship, or maybe even married, because you're going to know this person, money, for the rest of your life, how would you describe the relationship? And people tell me, oh, I don't really pay much attention to them. I like them. I use them when I want them, but I also don't really pay much attention to them. And it's like, if you didn't pay a lot of attention to your partner, would your partner want to stick around in your life? Probably not. And when you look at money like a person, and you look at the relationship that you have with this person, you can start to recognize why things are the way they are. For me, I have been cultivating, and I had to actively take action to do this, journaling, meditating, mantras, catching those old ways of thinking about money and inserting a new way of thinking, a new perspective, intentionally looking at money from a new perspective over and over and over again. Money is a game. Money is a song. Money is creativity. My life flows and dances and dips and raises up to money. And I play with it. I play with this flow. It's a game. I have a lot of freedom. I have a lot of creativity. I can talk about money in the same way that I could talk shop at the tattoo shop, my coil machine, I can break it all down and talk about each piece, and this machine does this, and this hits like that, and the throw on this, and this one's slappy, and this one's soft, or whatever you want to, I can talk about money that way. There's so much freedom to just be around money. And when we don't have that freedom to talk about money comfortably, then it has power over you. When you have the freedom to openly, honestly speak about money, speak your relationship with money into existence, then you have power over that relationship. And so that is the difference between coming to work with Ryan and going on the Caleb Hammer show. I'm not going to berate you. I will give you a healthy dose of a reality check. That I will do. I think that is needed for people, but there's a fine line between like saying like, hey, does this really work for you? If you really look at this situation, can you continue to do this for the next 5-10 years? Because it doesn't really seem like it's actually working for you. Like really facing that, I think, is important, being honest about that. But calling someone stupid or telling them they're disgusting or all that, I don't find any value. I don't think it's helping anyone. So let me know what you think. Do you like the Caleb Hammer show? If you like it, tell me what you like about it. I watched a couple episodes. It kind of just made me feel weird, and I felt bad for the person that was the guest. Would you like me to give you an audit? Would you like to come and chat about your finances and actually get some coaching? I would love to do an episode. If anyone's interested, let me know in the comments. Shoot me an email or a DM on Instagram, Ryan Roy Tattoo, if you're hearing this. We can chat about it and see if it's something you can get some free coaching, really help other people that might be in a similar situation. And I promise you, I will not berate you. I'll make you look good. I will. I promise. And I'm going to give you some free financial coaching and support. So if anyone is interested in that, wants to take me up on that offer, hit me up. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the show. Again, I just want to prompt that if you got some value out of this conversation, please go and leave us a rating and a review on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you saw this podcast. It really helps me out, and it really helps other people to find this podcast. I want more people to have these types of conversations around money so that we can all be more free and at ease and abundant and able to create the lives that we really want to live. So please share this and rate and review. Appreciate it. Thanks.